My test. Good afternoon, everyone. I can't hear you. Good afternoon, everyone. Excellent. This is the second day of our debate. And yesterday was exciting, yes? Yes. Today it will be even more exciting. So as the school host, I'd like to take this time to welcome each and every one of you who made it to this hall for this second debate. Specifically, I would like to welcome the following schools. Malapoa College, let's give them a round of applause. And can you just raise your hand so we see where you are? Malapoa College students, debaters and supporters and teachers, raise your hand. Thank you. There you go, Malapoa College. Welcome. And we have Lisa Lab. Can you raise your hand as well? Yes. Thank you, Lisa Lab. And finally, we have Onesue Presbyterian College. Raise your hand. Give them a wave, everyone. Welcome to Epauto School. And can I have my students from Epauto wave your hand to your friends who have come? Thank you and welcome. Welcome to Epauto School. Well, it's not the school compound. We're at the hall. That's the hall that belongs to the church, the mission. But yes, we're so excited to have you this afternoon. And to make you really feel at home, I would like to call upon the teacher representative of those three schools, Malapoa College, Lisa Lab, and Onesue. Can we have that teacher representative to just quickly come up the front so we can acknowledge your presence? Or did the students come by themselves? Okay, teacher rep, come up. Just one from each school, yes. Up to the stage. And can I ask my students to come forward? This afternoon, we will not hang any salu-salu. We just give them a book each. Thank you. You can take your seat. So this book that they received was also received yesterday. It's a devotional book. Every one of you in your schools will benefit from that. The teachers who got the book should be able to read that during an assembly so you can all hear the story from that book. So thank you and welcome. Not forgetting our guest, our judges, our timekeeper, our moderator, and any other officials. Welcome again to Epauto School. Before we continue, I would call upon our chaplain for the school. I see him around. Yes. The chaplain is going to say the opening prayer, and then we will hand the microphone back to our MC. Yes.
Thank you. I invite you to close your eyes wherever you are and let's pray. Our dear and loving eternal Father which art in heaven, Lord, we thank you for this privilege where we can come together with our colleague students from our other schools who are here with us. As we listen and whatever we learn, both students and staffs, will be something that will help all of us. And I pray for our judges and also the crews who are here with us today. Whatever we will be learning today, may everything we learn will use it in a way to glorify you also. This I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I feel like some are nervous, some did not have lunch maybe. Bon après-midi, les célèbres. Comment ça va? Allez, let's just join him. Anyway, you make one more clap, lo, Epauto School for hosting. Thank you, Thomas, Epauto. We appreciate you. Before we continue, my name is Telstar Jimmy. I am part of the School Debate Technical Working Group. It is a group from these three organizations, Mimi Woklo Balance of Power, Olnara teammates, Olnara colleagues Plumi, Oli Woklo Titan Effects with them Kiwanis, Mivlaista help organize them all school debate, Lopot Villa with them Santo. And we're very happy that the Digital Week Committee, Oli asking Ploba Mivla run school debate, Lo behalf Plo Olketa, this week and next week. Once again, Kiwan Club Lol 4 schools will be present this afternoon for the debate round number 2. Before we continue, Payuvla look want something lokonaya, live stream. Payuvla look samolista taking photo, or taking video, you're going live on social media. I know you signed some papers, the debaters, but for the whole crowd, mi wande karam consent plivla no mo. You are right. You're right, livla bloli take livla lo video with a photo. Suppose you're right, alam I. Suppose you're right, alam I. Kona yay no one them. You're right, livla or no? Thank you. Once again, thank you. We've are very flexible. You're being adaptive. You're going with the flow. Apologies for you missed up a few minutes late. We will now begin our debates. And Bami hande mi over kolo moderator play me today, who is Viniana Jimmy. Viniana by him go through all rules. Before him sing out them all first debate team sikam. Sorry, you make out one more church is takam suslo is taklo traffic. Hopefully by making in the next 1 or 2 minutes. One hour church please me, we just want to let you guys have 1 hour church to hemi sick. So by you make out all teachers only fill in. Kiwan club lo teacher lo Onesue, Lorenzo Caleb, by hemi church lo first debate. And then second debate, but you make out one teacher from Epauto, but he can join him judge panel this afternoon. Over to you, Vinny. Thank you.
Thank you, debaters. Okay, so as you take your seat, I will be going through the rules. A lot of you have participated in the debate competitions in the past, so you would be familiar with the rules. Nevertheless, so in terms of our timing, each speaker has 5 minutes to present their 1 minute left into your argument, into presenting your arguments. And when your time is up, you will hear the timekeeper do something like this. And that's when you wrap up your last sentence and you leave the podium. So to our debaters, some reminders for this afternoon. You are to focus on the judges. You look to them, you speak to them, you try to convince the judges. Not your fellow debaters on the sides, but your judges. Respect your allocated times. And to our audience, we ask that you have full respect towards our speakers, refrain from cheering or distracting our debaters while they're up on the podium. And you may do so or applaud them at the very end. So I will go through the marking rubric category just as a recap. So the judges will assess you based on 5 categories. 1 is information and organization. 2, understanding of topic and use of facts and statistics. 3, rebuttal and argumentation. 4, teamwork and respect for other teams. And lastly, presentation and timekeeper.
Good afternoon, respected moderator, honorable judges, worthy opponents, teachers, and students. We are currently living through the 11 warmest years in recorded human history. Imagine this. A cyclone is forming far out at sea. By the time people notice the dark clouds, it is already too late. Homes are destroyed, lives are lost, and communities are left in ruins. Now imagine another scenario where that same cyclone is struck days in advance, with alerts sent directly to people's home, phones, radios, and community networks, giving families time to evacuate and prepare. Which of these 2 scenarios are more appropriate? We, the Epauto Adventist Senior Secondary School representatives, Hayes Toloka will be the second speaker, Cerelina Fangaria will be the last speaker, and myself, Javen Kokare, will be the first presenter. Today, we, the Affirmative team, stand firmly in support of the motion. Government should invest more in digital systems for climate monitoring. When we refer to digital systems for climate monitoring, we mean the use of modern technologies such as satellites, weather sensors, computer modeling, mobile alert systems, and real-time data networks that collect, analyze, and share information about weather patterns and climate change to predict disasters and provide early warnings. In a world where climate change is intensifying, natural disasters, relying on outdated systems is no longer enough. I repeat myself, relying on outdated system is no longer enough. Digital monitoring is not a luxury. It is a lifeline. It transforms uncertainty into preparedness and disaster into prevention. This helps us to move from reactive disaster management to proactive planetary stewardship. I repeat myself. This helps us to move from reactive disaster management to proactive planetary stewardships. The first point, why government should invest more in digital systems for climate monitoring is because of the country's safety on foods and economic growth. The safety on food is a priority for all countries around the world. Everyone needs food daily to sustain themselves, right? And their families. They even plant food and make small business to gain income. However, the major factor affecting safety on food is the climate change. Crops planted needed an appropriate temperature to produce well, even the right amount of water and sunlight. We must start to consider this issue to well protect our food. There are several methods to undertake this specific issue. One clear example is in India. The government uses satellite data and digital platforms through the India Space Research Organization to monitor weather patterns, rainfall, and crop conditions. This allows farmers to receive real-time climate information, helping them make better decisions on planting and harvesting. As a result, crop losses are reduced, food production is improved, and farmers' incomes are protected. This clearly shows how digital climate monitoring systems can strengthen food security. Climate do not just influence how food is grown. It is directly affect how safe that food is to eat. Change in temperature, humidity, and extreme weather all shape how quickly food can spoil or become contaminated. According to Radian Fetas, he said, results show that climate change is significantly affecting food security, bringing more uncertainty risk. When foods are affected, people are also suffering. There is even report on the World Nutrition which states that 798 people are undernourished. Climate does not only affect food, it also affects the country's economic growth, specifically the country's revenue. Most crops which are used for exporting are the ones which are mostly affected by the climate. According to Sandra Silas, which I have interviewed at the Climate Change Department, she stated that one major factor affecting most countries' revenue is climate change. And through these digital systems, we can preserve our country's revenue. When export crops decline, countries earn less foreign exchange. This weaken their trade balance and reduce GDP, especially in economies heavily reliant on agriculture. For instance, nations that depend on cash crops may see significantly revenue drops if yields fall or quality declines. According to Alex Mickey, a worker from the Agricultural Department, he says that the twin cyclone Judy and Kevin decreases the quality of exported crops, which thereby leads to the fall of the country's revenue. Climate is actually affecting people and the environment. The obvious question is, what can we do? What can you and I do? Therefore, we, the Affirmative team, strongly believe that government should invest.
Thank you, Speaker 1 of the Affirmative team. I now call upon the first speaker of the Negative team. Please take the podium. Timekeeper.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, judges, moderators, fellow debaters, and all who are present within the complex. Greetings to all. My name is Zantisha Numatawalu, and I am the first speaker of the opposing team. Today, we, the opposing team, are here standing firm on our belief that the government should not invest in digital system for climate monitoring. Imagine spending millions of hours on computers that only tell you a problem is getting worse while doing nothing to actually solve it. Which leads to our first point, stating that investing in more digital systems for climate monitoring can be very costly or expensive. The initial cost of digital system is high because organizations must invest hardware, software, implementations. Research shows that many digital system projects cost hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars depending on size. For example, Soft Database reports ERP systems can cost between $75,000, which is roughly an amount of 8 million Vatu, and over 400 million Vatu worth of training and installation only. Imagine the government's giving away 400 million Vatu only for one activity. Today, we, the Negative team, would like to show that Vanuatu's recent expenditures on climate-related digital infrastructures has the highest cost involved. For instance, installing 6 automatic river gauges under the VCAP2 projects cost 48 million Vatu, while border enhancements in weather forecasting and warning reached 128 million Vatu. These figures represent a significant expense for a small island nation like Vanuatu, where the 2025 national budget prioritizes financial control and not economic recovery. And such investments yield uncertain long-term returns compared to direct resilience measures. In Vanuatu, the rollout of advanced weather radar systems and climate monitoring tools are pursued by Vanuatu Meteorology and Geohazard departments. This demands millions and millions of Vatu. In addition to that, if we were to enhance digital systems, it will be way beyond the government's budget. Such activities will mean that Vanuatu must apply for foreign aid, and that is one thing the government should avoid, as we have graduated from least developing nation to becoming a developing country. Therefore, we would rather make our own money than borrow money elsewhere. This leads to my second point: investing on digital system for climate monitoring will foster excessive dependency on foreign aid. To monitor climate will mean that we need improvements on infrastructure, energy supplies, connectivity, and improved or maintained digital lifelines. However, this will require billions of Vatu to make it a reality. Research shows that most of Vanuatu's projects for climate watching comes from foreign donors. From 2013 to 2017, 89% of 24 billion Vatu for climate work was big groups like World Bank, Asian Development, Global Environment Facilities, plus other countries like Australia, Japan, China, and New Zealand. These huge amounts are only for adaptation programs. The VCAP2 project alone was worth billions of Vatu and pays for digital tools like automatic river gauges to track floods better, but it fully funded by foreign sources like Global Environment Facilities. Once the money stops, our local budgets can't cover repairs or daily running costs, leaving the tax useless. Take the Vanuatu Meteorology and Geohazard Department. They receive new radars, better forecasting computers, and warning systems from donor projects costing millions of Vatu just to install. But to keep everything working, they rely outside experts from groups like SPREP and Australia for training software, updates, and fixes. This is the same problem with the submarine cables that carry all the weather data. They constantly require aid funds for repairs after storm. In small islands like Vanuatu, less than 10% this high-tech monitoring can run on its own. So we stuck waiting for the next handout. These digital systems will only create financial crisis because the government will not be able to maintain these multi-million dollars projects and facilities. For instance, a field trip to climate change department earlier this year has shown that a lot of facilities that were damaged during the 7.3 magnitude earthquake were never repaired until today. One of which are the digital weather monitoring screen. So how can the government invest on something that already they cannot maintain it? In all, we, the negative team, stand.
Thank you, first speaker of the team. I will now call upon the second speaker of the affirmative team.
Good afternoon, Honorable Moderator, respected judges, distinguished guests, and my fellow students. My name is Hayes Toloka, and I stand firmly to support our first speaker and the motion before the House. Before I move on with my point, I would like to briefly rebuttal the opposition. The opposition argued that digital systems cost a high price. However, as the United Nations Climate Report of 2022 rightly states, investing in climate monitoring today is like paying for a weather forecast, an insurance policy that saves us billions tomorrow. The long-term savings, both financial and human, far outweigh the initial expenses that you have mentioned. Accurate data allows us to act early, reducing the devastating impacts of natural disasters like hurricanes, wildfires, floods, and other more, ultimately saving lives and resources. So the real question is, if we don't invest in digital climate monitoring, how much more will the government spend responding to disasters after they occur? This is why we, the affirmative team, strongly believe that the government should invest more in digital systems for climate monitoring. I would like to pose a question to the judges, the audience, and the opposition. During events such as TC Palm, TC Harrell, and the Twin Cyclone, did you guess the location of the cyclone, or were you properly alerted? Of course, we all were alerted during those times through color code SMS warnings, various communication channels, and the Vanuatu National Emergency Radio Network. These are digital systems based on defined rules and data, not random guesswork. Building on this point, I now move to our second point. Digital systems save lives by replacing presumption with facts. It plays a crucial role in saving lives during natural disasters and environmental hazards through early warning system, real-time data monitoring, and rapid communication. For instance, advanced satellite imagery, IoT sensors, and predictive analytics enable authorities to detect floods, storms, and hazards, and predict wait time for evacuation and preparation. Those tools can drastically cut down disaster mortality. I repeat, those tools can drastically cut down disaster mortality. Consequently, because our government cannot fight climate change blindly, policies without climate foresight is outdated. Early warning systems powered by digital tech are among the most direct ways lives are saved. The United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres stated during the World Meteorological Congress held in Geneva, I quote, "Countries with good early warning system experience disaster-related mortality rates at least 6 times lower than those without such system." He further adds by saying that early warning system and climate monitoring are the backbone of disaster risk reduction and saving life. Furthermore, in the Pacific as of 2017, Tuvalu installed a digital pioneer warning system for cyclone and tsunamis and sirens for multi-hazard warning system. which uses mobile phone SMS alerts and sirens to notify residents in communities. To ensure warnings are received during power outage, households are provided with solar-powered radios, allowing them to receive alerts without electricity. Overall, observed evidence consequently demonstrates that digital systems not only enhances preparedness, but also directly translates into lives saved, making it an important tool in our effort to protect our communities, our islands, our countries, and our nation from escalating environmental threats. Therefore, we, the Affirmative team, strongly believe that investing in these digital systems is not optional for Vanuatu, the Pacific, and even globally, but it is essential. It is how nations innovate today to truly sustain tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker number 2 of the Affirmative team. Could we get a mic check for the students, please?
This.
Second speaker, take the podium while we're doing the test.
Testing 1, this.
Timekeeper.
Good day to all. My name is Yvonne George, and I am the second speaker of the opposing team. Firstly, I would like to rebuttal on the Affirmative team's point, which states that the Affirmative team stated that technology predict disaster fast, digital system help reactive disaster actions, and also stated that it affects countries' food. But the real question is food can come from aid, but will digital systems save life? Infrastructure is the first line of defense, not climate tech. Government should be showing more interest in building roads that are strong and build buildings that are disaster-proof. Building a cyclone-safe house, this can reduce disaster damage without using a digital climate system. Disasters are prevented through physical resilience, not collecting data and predictions for what will happen. If government focuses on proper infrastructure, people wouldn't be worried about what will happen when it comes to natural disasters. This leads to my first point of argument, which is rural areas is left behind due to poor infrastructure. Digital climate monitoring system requires stable electricity, internet, and technical capacity. That is what Vanuatu doesn't have. In Vanuatu, rural and outer islands of Vanuatu lack this infrastructure. The UNFCCC National Communication and Fund Cura project report states that climate information service have low uptake in rural communities for poor access and weak IT systems. If the government invests more in digital systems, the benefits will be concentrated in urban centers, such as Port Vila. Then the rural areas where climate impacts are often the most severe, they remain excluded. This creates inequality in resilience and undermines natural climate preparedness. According to World Bank 2022, only 33% of our population has electricity, and only 27% of people uses the internet. This means that 67% of Vanuatu's population has no electricity, and 73% of the population does not have access to the internet. Our climate change and disaster risk reduction policy admits that rural communities face significant barriers to accessing climate information because of weak infrastructure, hence digital system. This means that even if the government invests heavily or more in digital systems, most rural households cannot access them. They cannot power the devices, they cannot access the internet, and they cannot receive the information. For instance, in Pentecost, many inland villages still rely on chiefs, church bells, and radios for flood and cyclone warning because they have no electricity and internet access. If the government is investing more in the digital system as the motion demands, it becomes a wasteful and unequal use of the government resources. Thus, rural Vanuatu is always left behind. If climate change threatens every island in Vanuatu, how can the government invest in digital systems be justified when poor infrastructure means rural communities will be left behind? The first point shows that rural Vanuatu is being left behind, but the problem runs even deeper. Even if this digital system did reach everyone, they would still damage our country. Why? Because digital systems are high energy technologies that increases carbon emissions. And this highlights my second point, which is digital system contributes highly to carbon emissions. This is because they require high amount of energy to operate and maintain infrastructure such as data centers, communication networks, and everyday electronic devices runs continuously and depends on electricity. What is the source of the electricity, we may ask? Fossil fuels. Fossil fuels took millions of years to form underground. It is being used up very rapidly. Much of the data centers mentioned is still generated from fossil fuel. According to research, data centers and AI training centers, enormous sources from fossil fuels. Imagine having a laptop and an iPhone for accessibility. Do you think it is produced well? Well, research shows that producing a laptop alone requires approximately 600 kgs of raw materials, and 78 to 80% of smartphones carbon is generated. Therefore, the phone is even used. This shows the rapid technology leads to over 60 million tons of e-waste annually, with only a small fraction being properly recycled. In addition, activities like streaming videos on platforms or storing data in the cloud really rely on intensive servers that operate 24/7, require additional coding systems that further increases energy consumptions. For instance, our technology assessment warns that when new technology increases, we increase the amount of fossil fuels used. So aren't we increasing the amount of carbon footprint? And isn't that leading to extreme weather patterns? Why is it that Vanuatu is one of the representative in the National Court of Justice that advocated that the case of carbon emissions, and yet believing in the idea that the government should invest on digital systems to monitor climate? And if our government now invests in digital systems that increases emissions, we will erode our credibility and weaken.
Thank you. Speaker number 2 of the negative team. I now call upon the third speaker of the affirmative team to take the podium. Timekeeper.
Good afternoon, Honorable Moderator, distinguished judges, respected teachers, and fellow students. Before commencing on my point, I'd like to rebut on the opposing team. The opposition argues that infrastructure should be the priority and not investing in digital system. However, the negative team argues we should. However, we strongly agree because we strongly disagree because even global experts agree that without digital monitoring system, those infrastructures are ineffective. According to the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, early warning systems are among the most proven and cost-effective ways to save lives and reduces losses. Furthermore, the opposing team mentioned inequality. This is the exact reason why we should invest more on digital system to ensure all our communities have access to early warning system. Before proceeding on our last point, I'd like to ask a question. Would you rather pay for prevention or for destruction 10 times more later? The cost of damages caused by natural disasters is much expensive than costs needed in setting up a digital system. This is due to natural disasters destroy a very big amount of material infrastructure like roads, buildings, and power grids all at once instantly, which usually cost billions of dollars. According to Peter Markwood, 2025, coded as worldwide natural disaster losses still reach over $224 million. Investments in digital systems are typically targeted at improving efficiency, data analysis, or building specific smaller scale infrastructure. Even when digital investments are high, they are often focused on new targeted solutions rather than the massive blanket coverage needed to protect all legacy physical assets. Emma Bing Louis also stated, investing in digital system for climate monitoring and early warning is widely recognized as highly cost-effective strategy, with evidence suggesting that every $1 invested can yield up to $10 in net economic benefits. This approach is far cheaper than the damage caused by natural disasters, which cost the world roughly around $16 million per hour. A good example is the community-based early warning system in the lower Karnali River Basin in Nepal, which monitors the rainfall and water level. When water reaches a threshold, it sends an alert to the leaders and people of the community downstream. Thus, the cost of damages avoided is estimated at over 117,000 Nepalian rupees, which is around 119,000 Vatu, for each household in areas where it is severely affected by the flooding. Just imagine the government spending 119,000 Vatu for the thousands of households being affected by a natural disaster. In addition, Pacific region countries such as Fiji, Samoa, and Tonga have also strengthened digital climate monitoring systems to track cyclones, floodings, droughts, and sea level rise. Fiji's early warning system and climate monitoring helped communities prepare for Cyclone Winston, which reduced casualties and improving emergency response. Well, you might ask, why does the money invested in digital system is less than the cost of damages caused by natural disaster? The reason is early warning system that are issued gives enough time for people to move and secure properties such as livestock, agricultural belongings, and move household possessions, thus lessen the loss of portable properties, creates an efficient response, requires low-cost sensors and communications, which has locally fabricated parts, and it also uses mobile SMS, which makes it an affordable digital system that can be used in developing economics also. To conclude, we as the Affirmative team strongly agree that the government should invest more in digital system for climate monitoring, given that it assists in the reduction of food loss and economic fall. It also saves lives, and investing in digital system is much cheaper than paying billions in disaster damages tomorrow. Thus, with the points mentioned, I sincerely appeal to our leaders and everyone listening to help support the investment in digital devices that will help save lives, our economy, and our future. Thank you.
Thank you. Third speaker of the Affirmative team. I now call upon the third and closing speaker of the Negative team. As you take the stage, a kind reminder to our audience, please respect our speakers. We want the hall to be really quiet so we don't distract our speakers, please.
Check.
Thank you.
Thank you. As the third speaker for the Negative team, I will focus on addressing the key arguments presented by the Affirmative team and reinforcing our team's case and demonstrating why government shouldn't invest more on those digital monitoring systems for climate monitoring. To begin, I would like to make some few rebuttals on this. So, the Affirmative team argued that all people are alerted during the cyclones. However, climate technology investment can worsen inequality because it is often accused first by wealthier or opinion communities, leaving rural and urban people groups behind. What about them? What about the vulnerable? Researchers have shown, according to telecommunication service providers such as National Disaster Management and offices in Vanuatu sending messages through digital photophone to give these climate warning systems mostly concentrate in urban areas, while in rural and outer islands communities around Vanuatu that face limited access due to weak infrastructures, if I may say. In Torpa province, from 2001 to 2024, still have limited electricity and infrastructure, which leads the two islands to struggle whenever it comes to climate warnings and about any disasters. More interest doesn't mean better results. Why should government waste money on digital climate system that never reaches the people who need it? Now, let us return to the core of this case. We have consistently demonstrated that prioritizing digital monitoring creates significant opportunity cost. Resources are limited, and every Vatu spent on this monitoring is for waste. What about these Vatus that are being spent on things that actually matter, like renewable energy, climate adaptations, and disaster-resistant infrastructure, which are the solutions that produce immediate and tangible or measurable benefits. Furthermore, we highlighted that such systems are expensive to maintain and often benefit technologically advanced regions. What are we implying? Rural areas. Do you think rural areas have access to technology? No. Why? Exactly. Because rural areas don't have the access to technology, potentially widening inequality through our islands. Secondly, this approach can create dependency on foreign aid. We say we are an independent country, but look at us, seeking help from the outside. Many countries do not have the technologies or expertise to build and maintain the systems on their own. So they heavily rely on developed nations. This reduces national independence and make long-term climate action less sustainable. Thirdly, rural and underdeveloped areas are often left behind due to poor infrastructure. Why? While cities may benefit from advanced digital systems, many rural communities lack internet access, electricity, or technical support, which increases inequality in climate monitoring and response. Lastly, digital systems themselves contribute to carbon footprints. Data centers, servers, and networks require large amounts of energy, often produced from what? Fossil fuels, which takes these amount of millions of years to form. When we weigh this debate, the contrast is clear. The government offers indirect, long-term, and uncertain benefits based on assumptions that more data leads to better outcomes. In conclusion, this is not about whether climate monitoring has value or not. You cannot solve a crisis by monitoring it. You solve it by taking action, having integrity towards something that has been affecting us for centuries. To add all of these arguments from now until, progress is not measured by how much we spend, but how wisely we choose to act. True responsibilities lies in balancing innovation with practicality, ensuring that every investment translates into tangible or measurable impacts rather than just digital promises. Thank you.
Thank you. Third speaker of the negative team. You will now have 2 minutes each to deliberate and prepare your final statements. You will have 2 minutes to present them. Timekeeper, your 2 minutes starts now. Thank you, timekeeper. I will now call upon the speaker from the affirmative team to take the podium, please. You have 2 minutes to present your final argument. Sorry, correction. 1 minute to present your final argument. Timekeeper.
Before I move on with our final argument, I would like to rebut the opposition. The opposing team argues that inequality in the use of digital system. If the inequality between the nations and our community is a concern, wouldn't investing in these systems alongside inclusion program be the logic solution instead of avoiding investment altogether? The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres reminds us, climate change knows no border. Our solutions shouldn't either. International cooperation and funding through entities like the Global Environment Facility can bridge these gaps. Supporting developing nations to access and utilize this technology promotes global resilience, ensuring that climate action is reasonable and inclusive. Judges, the opposing team have stated all the negative impacts on digital system that my fellow speakers had already addressed with way forward solution. Investing in digital system for climate monitoring is essential for building a safer and more resilient future, especially.
Thank you, Affirmative team. I will now call upon the negative team speaker. You have 1 minute to present your final argument. Timekeeper.
Okay, thank you. I would also like to rebuttal on one of the points stated earlier during this argument. Cost effective. Digital systems include satellites, sensors, and AI platforms are very expensive to build and maintain. This will just add more government expenses. According to 2023 to 2026, reports from FIPTC Daily Post shows that government already loans to pay, especially the remaining Air 402 loans, and there are other remaining debts, obligations to China, an amount of 1.6 million. How can our government show interest in digital climate system when there are loans to be paid? Investing digital climate systems will just add more loans when asking foreign countries to donate funds when it comes to repaying the digital climate systems. We can't fix climate problem that leads to financial problems. So please, don't add Vanuatu's ongoing burden. We stand to the fact that government should not invest more, but there are other things.
Thank you, final speaker from the negative team. I would like to ask the audience to please give a round of applause to our debaters this afternoon. They have been amazing. And thank you to our timekeeper. While we wait for the judges to finalize the scores, I will now pass on the mic to our MC.
Thank you, debaters. As always, it takes a lot of courage and confidence, to stand up here and speak for 5 minutes in front of over 1,000 people sitting in this auditorium. So give another round of applause, please. Well done. All right, can I ask, while the judges are tallying up the scores, can I ask everybody to stand up, please? Find your pair. Okay, this is on climate change. Stand up, everybody up. Okay, turn to your pair. The effects of climate change. All right, effects of climate change. You give him one answer, partner blue, you give one. You give one, the last one, we give him answer, narawan you no give answer, and we no give answer, na lose. Effects of climate change. Ready? Think of your answers. Who's not standing up? Do we have old people in this hall? Yes, I'm sure you're all very smart students. Effects of climate change. Ready? Go. 1, sea level rise. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm giving you the answers. I feel like some people are speaking in tongues instead of giving answers. When you have a winner, you can sit down. That was quick. Me look Samuel Sebol Satran looking about geography class pa again with them development studies. How many did you get up to? 2? Raise your hands, plus you got 2. 2 answer. Plus you with your partner blue, you got 2 answer. Raise my hand blue. Oh Lord. 1 answer. 3 answers. Hands up, 3 answers. Who can say 3 answer? You and your partner. Oh, good. 4 answers. 4. Oh, 1 umbrella behind. 5 answers. Wow. Of course the teachers would have 5 answers. 6 answers. 7. Wow. Kiwan klap lokona ya. Okay. All right. Last game. The handshake. Okay, tani you lopat na pliu, you tulay lane 1 2-step handshake. 2 steps. Hello, partner? 2 handshake, 2-step handshake. Can be I don't know, a punch and I don't know what young people do nowadays. Got your 2-step? Yes? 2-step, 2-step. If you've got yours, say I. You know I can man. You've got your 2-step, yes? Okay, pair up with another pair. After you've let land blow 1 finish, land blow another 1. So now it's how many steps? Now how many steps? It'll be 4 steps. Pair up with another one and do your first. After by you me look kata foya bali semblol kata. I'm just kidding. 4 steps. Got your 4 steps? I'll like you 1 clap for everybody. Thank you. But you may give him all judges, probably come give feedback with the final score. Thank you.
Adventist. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, students. Good afternoon, teachers and public at large, where you've welcome to what. Before I read out the results, I would like to make a few comments based on the presentations that were done by our students, the government of the day, and the opposition. Okay. One of the comments from the judges is on the eye contact. We have seen a lot of you reading throughout the presentation. It's always best that you maintain a good eye contact so that you can also engage your students, or your audiences, sorry. Okay, next is you are loud and you are very clear. I would say the fluency. You are very, very fluent in how you speak, and you are very confident about what you said, which shows us, the judges, that you've understood the topic well, and you've researched a lot before you come and do the debate. Accuracy, I will comment on accuracy. Most of what you said is very accurate, but to some extent, maybe you can contextualize your research for future debate. Looking at our context in Vanuatu, maybe you look for research, sources that will match our context and are in line with our context and will reflect our context in Vanuatu. I would acknowledge everybody as well from the both sides, and honestly, I am very impressed to see how far you've come as students. So give yourself a round of applause. As a teacher, being part of the judges, I will say these are the skills that will carry you through life. You may learn formulas in mathematics, you may learn date in history, whatever in chemistry, but at the end of the day you will forget them. But the skills will take you through life. These are the skills that will make you go far. These are the skills that will make you find a good job one day. Most of our leaders today are the people who are not silent. They are people who talk a lot. And you have started, and one day you will look back and you will reflect. You will tell others your story, where you started and how far you have achieved or how far you have come. Okay. Another comment here is the good use of facts and statistics. Yep. I listen, a lot of you have come up with a lot of very good statistical evidence. And to that extent where some of you, or one, did an interview, which is a very good source. We want more reliable sources to be heard in our debates, because they are trustworthy, and we know that this can be based on first-hand sources. They are also from personal experience of those who are victim of the issue, or they are part, or they were experiencing, or they were there during the time of what you are investigating. Okay, and then I think that's all from me. Once again, thank you very much, Government of the Day and the opposition team. I will now read out the results. Affirmative Epauto with 186 score, and Malapoa College with 188 score. Very close. Very close. So, thank you very much for the effort, Affirmative and opposition, for the effort you did. You have put a lot of effort into your research, and it takes only individual students to come up here and stand and give a presentation for 5 minutes, like Ms. Telstar has already said. So once again, thank you very much. Continue to do what you can do. Sometimes I always tell the students, sometimes you do not realize what you are capable of until you are given an opportunity. So make use of opportunities in the future. If you are chosen to be a debater or to represent your school, make use of those opportunities, because they are shaping you and they are molding you to be somebody this country needs one day. Thank you.
Thank you. You may now, the debaters, you may now take your seats. Thank you again to the judges. Oh, sorry. Our media people here would like a photo with the debaters. If you could go right at the back with Alira. That's Alira there signaling to you. Thank you. While the debaters from the third round are taking their photos, I will now call upon the debaters for the fourth round. We have, in the fourth round, we have Onesue College and Lycess. Please take your seats in front. Onesue will be our affirmative team, and Lycess will be the negative team this afternoon. Thank you, debaters. I would now like to take your attention to our timekeeper. As you've been here before, you would have noted that you have 5 minutes each. The speakers have 5 minutes each. And when you come to your final minute, you will hear the timekeeper do a bell sound. And when your 5 minutes is up, she will, thank you, timekeeper. And once you've completed all your debates, once all the three speakers have done their arguments, you will have 2 minutes to gather your thoughts, deliberate, and 1 minute to do your rebuttal. So before we begin, I would like to highlight again the marking rubric. So the judges will be marking you this afternoon according to 5 categories. So the first one is information and organization. The second one is understanding of topic and use of facts and statistics. The third is rebuttal and argumentation. The fourth is teamwork and respect for other team. And last but not least, presentation and engagement with your audience. And on that note, please address your audience, particularly your judges. You want to convince your judges when you're up there. And you respect each other, respect your fellow debaters. And once again, to our audience, please respect our speakers while they're up on stage. We would like you to be very quiet so you don't distract them. And so our debate statement for the fourth round of the competition this afternoon is: government should invest. Wait. Sorry, just a moment. Okay, so our debate statement is: policy-driven digital safety measures are essential to building resilient and secure online environments. And I repeat, policy-driven digital safety measures are essential to building resilient and secure online environments. And with that, I now call upon the first speaker of the Affirmative team. Please take the podium. Thank you, timekeeper.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges, and members of the opposing team. I am Naomi Adha, the first speaker of this afternoon's debate. As the government of the day, we are here to bring to your attention and to convince you that policy driven by safety measures is essential for building resilient and secure online environment. We affirm the motion, policy driven by safety measures is essential to building a resilient and secure online environment. Before we go any further, let's define the ground. When we say policy driven by safety measures, we mean rules, standards, and governance frameworks that are designed to prevent us from harms like cybercrime, data breaches, harassment, or misinformations. According to the Oxford Dictionary, then it refers to principles of behaviors where an entity or an organization seeks to follow. The National Institutes of Standards and Technology, or what is often known as NIST, states that a resilient and secure online environment can withstand threats, recover from disruption, and also protect users consistently. Our case raised on three core acumens: harm prevention, trust as infrastructure, and long-term system resilience. As the first speaker, I will argue that the policy is the prevention of harm. Our second speaker will talk more about trust is not optional, but it is infrastructure. And our third and final speaker will reinforce why this motion must stand with our final acumen that states that resilience requires preparation and not reactions. Let me begin with our first acumen, the prevention of harm. The internet left entirely unchecked does not naturally evolve into a safe space. We have overwhelming evidence of cyber attacks, identity thefts, exploitation, and coordinated disinformations. Safety-driven policies like data protection regulations, content moderation standards, and cybersecurity requirements act as guardrails. These policies protect people's privacy, human rights, and responsible behaviors in cyberspace. Now let me ask you this question. Are you happy with someone posting something about your family, relatives, or a friend on social media without the concerns? Absolutely not, right. That is exactly where we need a policy in place to safeguard the use of digital platforms. Opponent team, you cannot uphold our Constitution under Article 5 if you object to this motion, because our Mama Law emphasizes respect, responsibility, and the protection of privacy, which is why policy is needed in cyberspace. The Vanuatu Cybercrime Act number of 2021 is evidence that Vanuatu needs policy to guide and secure an online environment. According to the Vanuatu Digital Database, the Kensley Chosen 2026 said that they managed to block two scammers who have tried to break into our online system. Now, fortunately, because of the policy, they have stopped the scammers from breaking into our online systems. So what can we do with our policies? I want you to picture this scenario. Imagine a school without policies. What do you think the environment would be like? And you as a parent, would you send your kids to such institution? Likewise, in the online space, we need policies. Now, the opposition may argue that too much safety policy stifles freedom or innovations, but this is a false dichotomy. The question is not whether we have policies, but what kind. Well-designed safety policies are balanced, transparent, and adaptable. They set minimum standards without dictating every outcome. In fact, the absence of policy often leads to greater harm, which in turn triggers heavy interventions later. For these reasons, we strongly affirm the motion. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, first speaker of the affirmative team. I now call upon the first speaker of the negative team to take the podium. Timekeeper.
By policy-driven digital safety measures, we mean establish proactive rules-based systems that embed security, such as automate enforcement and clear guidelines directly into digital infrastructure. This approach shifts from reactive ad hoc and security to preventing risk by design. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, churches, students, and our fellow opponents. My name is Kazabella Iaskon, and I am the first speaker of the negative team. Joining me are Arisen Samson as our second speaker and Theophil Pio as our third speaker. Today, we are debating the essentiality of policy-driven digital safety measures into effort to create safe online environment. We will demonstrate that this is not a case by presenting our key points. First, policy-driven safety measures are unnecessary. Let us begin with a claim that these measures are unnecessary. Why? Because they address only the symptoms of unsafe online environment rather than the root causes. They censor speech, ban scammers, and restrict platforms, but they fail to confront the deeper cultural issues, digital illiteracy, and the absence of ethical responsibility. Consider Spain. According to Statista, Spain had an internet penetration rate of 99% in January 2024. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom, long after passing the Online Safety Act, recorded a penetration rate of 98% in December 2025. Yet, research conducted by Health Behavior in School-Age Children found that Spain had the lowest rate of bullying among both boys and girls in all of Europe. This shows that unsafe online behavior is not solved by laws. It is shaped by cultures, education, and values. If laws alone could make the internet safe, then the UK should have outperformed Spain, but it did not. This demonstrates that policy-driven safety measures are unnecessary because the real solution lies in teaching digital literacy, fostering empathy, and building a moral compass in our communities. I would like to respond to Affirmative Speaker 1. Disadvantage is overstated. Cybercrimes still exist even in countries with strict laws. In Vanuatu, despite the effort to regulate the digital space, cybercrimes remains a growing concern, especially as internet penetration increases. For instance, online scams targeting local people continue to rise, especially phishing scams. Example, in 2020, a phishing scams involved the Vanuatu National Bank lead to several customers losing money despite the presence of laws aimed at protecting digital transactions. Criminals operate anonymously from other countries, making it extremely difficult to trust and prosecute them under local laws. Vanuatu police and government agency regularly issues warning about online scam targeting citizens. This report highlights how global cybercrimes use sophisticated methods to trick individuals, often bypassing local regulation. Thank you.
Thank you, first speaker of the negative team. I now call upon the second speaker of the affirmative team to take the podium. Timekeeper.
Madam Moderator, esteemed judges, worthy opponents, and respected audience, good afternoon. As the second speaker for the Affirmative team, I stand strongly in support of our case. Atasha Seth is my name. As the second speaker of the Affirmative team, I will reinforce our case by highlighting trust as infrastructure through how policy-driven digital safety measures protect human rights and strengthen national security. But let me first address what the opposition has said. They said something about awareness. Instead of creating policies, awareness can be used instead. Nowadays, people come around making awareness because of the policy. If there are no policies, awareness would be useless. There is a policy in place. That is why people come around making awareness about something. So instead of limiting us, policy actually protects us and allow us to use digital spaces safely and confidently. Let me now extend our argument with two further points. My first point is policies protect privacy and human rights. Every time we go online, we are sharing personal information, sometimes even without realizing it. Without proper policies, that information can easily be misused. People could have their identities stolen, their private data exposed, or even be targeted and harassed online. And this is important because privacy is not just a feature, it is a basic human right. Policies also protect users from cyberbullying, scams, and harmful content. In a country like Vanuatu, where more young people are coming to use online platforms, this protection is becoming more important every day. According to Ms. Vahina, 2026, a teacher at Matevulu College, she posted a photo of her being photoshopped to tarnish her reputation. This is really in Vanuatu, and you and I see this every day when we log into Facebook. My second point is policies strengthen national security and digital trust. Now, this is where we see the real impact, not just on individuals, but on the whole country. A very clear example is what happened right here in Vanuatu in 2022. According to Vanuatu Daily Post of 9th November 2022, there was a major cyber attack on the government system that completely shut down services across the country. Government emails, websites, and databases were stopped working. At hospitals, schools, and police services, even basic communications were affected. In fact, workers had to go back using pen and paper, and some services were delayed or completely stopped. This wasn't just inconvenient, it was a serious national security issue. It showed how vulnerable a country can be without strong digital safety systems and policies in place. Vanuatu is a small island country with limited resources and developing digital infrastructure. That makes it even more important to have strong policies that guide cybersecurity, protect systems, and prepare for attacks. Because without those policies, one single cyber attack can disrupt the entire country. In addition, the National Bank of Vanuatu identified multiple fraudulent messaging companies circulating messages intending to steal funds. So, if there are no policies, what will happen if all the citizens lose all their banking savings? Even you will suffer the consequences. People will only use digital services like online banking, government platforms, and communication systems if they feel safe. So to conclude, policy-driven digital safety measures are not optional, they're essential. They protect our privacy and our rights as individuals, and they protect our nation from serious digital threats. So if we really or truly want a secure, resilient digital environment, policies are not the problem, they're the solution. Thank you.
Thank you, speaker number 2 of the Affirmative team. I now call upon the third and closing speaker of the second speaker of the negative team.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, judges, students, and our fellow opponents. As the second speaker of the negative team, I stand firmly with our first speaker has said, that policy-driven digital safety measures are unnecessary. I will further build on her point by presenting two additional arguments. Our second argument is that even when governments attempt to enforce these policies, they are futile. Technology has advanced so much that restrictions can be easily bypassed. Research shows that when governments suppress viewpoints, these opinions do not disappear. They simply go underground. For instance, after the Online Safety Act was passed in the United Kingdom in 2023, the BBC reported on July 29, 2025, a sharp increase in VPN downloads. Citizens simply found ways to circumvent the restrictions. If Vanuatu adopts similar laws, the same will happen here. People will use VPNs, encrypted apps, or anonymous platforms to bypass restrictions. The government will spend resources enforcing laws that cannot be enforced. This is the definition of futility. Let me pose a rhetorical question. What is the point of passing laws that people can easily ignore? Instead of wasting resources on futile policies, government should invest in education, awareness campaigns, and community-based solutions that actually change behavior. Finally, let us consider the dangers of these policies. Mandatory digital safety measures often require invasive age verification or identity checks. This leads to the creation of massive databases of personal information, prime targets for hackers. And these dangers are not hypothetical. In Vanuatu, we have already experienced cyber attacks on our government infrastructures in 2022 and 2024. If we create even larger databases under the banner of safety, we are simply giving hackers more opportunities to exploit our citizens. Consider Australia's debates over mandatory digital ID proposals. Critics warned that centralizing sensitive data would create a single point of failure. If hackers breach such a system, millions of identities could be exposed at once. This is not safety, it is risk. So instead of protecting citizens, these policies expose them to new vulnerabilities. To address the point our opponents brought up on national security, we point out that this is a limit in reality. Cybercrime is global, but laws are national. Vanuatu cyber security laws can only address issues that occur within its borders. Global threats like hacking and cyber espionage often originate from countries with different legal frameworks, which limits Vanuatu's ability to respond. Enforcement is slow and weak. Vanuatu has limited resources to fully enforce national security measures. International cooperation is necessary to tackle cross-border cybercrime effectively. A report by the Vanuatu government in 2021 indicated challenges in enforcing its cybersecurity laws, particularly against foreign hackers who often target small island nations with weak digital infrastructures. You cannot control a global problem with local laws. Thank you.
Thank you, second speaker of the negative team. I now call upon the third and final closing speaker from the affirmative team. Please take the podium.
Madam Moderator, esteemed judges, and respected audience. My name is Ozana Jackson, and I'm the final speaker for the affirmative team. It is my greatest honor to close today's debate with a strong support for the motion, policy driven by safety measures is essential to building a resilient and secure online environment. Throughout this debate, our team has made it clear, practical, and culturally grounded why this motion must stand. In response to the first and second speaker of the opposing team, you mentioned something about policies being unnecessary. Policies are not unnecessary. And you, the second speaker, also mentioned something about policies being too restrictive or that they limit freedom online. But honestly, without rules, there is no real freedom, only risk. If there are no policies, people's data can be stolen, systems can be attacked, and no one is held accountable. That is not freedom, that is vulnerability. I will now focus on our third argument, which is resilience requires preparation and not reaction. According to the website Tech Target Resilience, the term resilience is defined not by how well you respond after something goes wrong. It is about how well you are designed to withstand things going wrong in the first place. That is why we need digital policy to help us navigate the digital world we now live in, where threats are constant, evolving, and often unpredictable. Waiting to react is inefficient, dangerous, and can lead to chaos. The Cybercrime Act of 2021 is a safety security policy that ensures that all systems are built with anticipation in mind. This includes requirements like regular security audits, data encryption standards, and breach notification. These are not reactive tools. They are proactive safeguards. They force organizations to think ahead about questions like, what could go wrong and how can we mitigate it before it happens? Without such a policy, preparation becomes optional, and when preparation becomes optional, it is often neglected, especially when it conflicts with short-term profits and rapid growth. Let's be clear about the stakes, people. A single vulnerability can compromise millions of users in a second. Just like we heard from our second speaker, as once mentioned by the MP of Malapoa in the 14th legislature, Micah Olivier, the cost of prevention is predictable and manageable, but the cost of failure is chaotic and often irreversible. Resilience is not built in moments of crisis. It is built long before a crisis occurs. So if we are serious about creating a secure and stable environment, we cannot rely on reaction. We must institutionalize preparation, and the only way to do that is through policy driven by safety measures. For these reasons, we urge you to affirm the motion. Policy driven by safety measures is essential to building a resilient and secure online environment. Let us not wait for harm to happen before we act. Let us create policies today to protect our tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, third speaker of the affirmative team. I now call upon the third and closing speaker of the negative team. Please take the podium. Timekeeper.
Good afternoon, moderator, honorable moderator, all judges, and our fellow debaters. I am the last speaker for the negative team, and I will I am the last speaker for the negative team, and I will explain why we should win this debate. In conclusion, we, the negative team, have shown that policy digital-driven safety measures are unnecessary because unsafe behavior stems from culture, not laws. Futile because restrictions are easily bypassed in the modern digital era. And dangerous because they create new risks through invasive data collection. Policy-driven digital safety measures are ultimately unnecessary because they mistakenly target service level symptoms rather than addressing the cultural root causes of online harm, such as digital illiteracy and the erosion of a moral compass. This is evidenced by countries like Spain, which maintain significantly lower bullying rates than most strictly regulated nations like the UK, despite having higher internet penetration, suggesting that social outweighs top-down mandate. Resilience outweighs top-down mandates. Furthermore, such policies are often futile in a modern era where technical circumvention, like the massive spike in VPN usage following the UK Online Safety Act, simply drives restricted viewpoints and behavior underground rather than eliminating them. Most critically, these mandates create dangerous new risks by requiring invasive identity checks that consolidate sensitive personal data into massive honeypot databases, which are prime targets for the types of cyber attacks already witnessed on government infrastructures in nations like Vanuatu. The opposing team said that they claim that policy make the internet more organized and secure, but that is wrong because safer doesn't always mean better or freer. Too many rules can limit freedom of expression. Vanuatu is a small nation with diverse communities. Overregulation could lead to the stifling of free speech, particularly when it comes to expressing political views or discussing important social issues. People may feel watched or controlled by the state. There is a growing concern in Vanuatu that too many regulation could infringe on personal freedoms, especially as the country embraces more digital government services. Safety should not remove basic rights. Ensuring digital safety must not come at the cost of diminishing citizens' rights of freely express themselves. According to supporting evidence, to the source in a 2019 survey conducted by the Pacific Media Assistance Scam, citizens expressed concerns about internet censorship and the potential for government overreach, fearing their political opinions could be silenced. A controlled internet is not a truly safe internet. According to the statement of opponent 1, Affirmative 1, they claim policies reduce fake news, hate speech and harmful posts. This creates serious risk of misuse. Who decides what is harmful? Vanuatu's government and social media platforms often face the challenge of distinguishing between harmful content and valid political commentary. There is a risk that governments or companies may use vague definition to silence dissenting voices. Government or companies may remove valid opinions. In Vanuatu, social media posts critical of political figures during election years have been removed, raising concern about censorship. Can be used to silence criticism in countries with strong digital regulation. Those in power can suppress opposition, stifling political freedom. According to source in 2020 during Vanuatu's national election, where there were reports of posts being removed from Facebook for allegedly violating the harmful content guidelines. These raised concerns among political activities about censorship. Controlling content can easily become controlling people. And for now, even if it is true.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Third speaker of the negative team. So the affirmative team and the negative team, you now have 2 minutes to deliberate, and you have 1 minute to rebut. So your 2 minutes starts now. Thank you, timekeeper. Could we now have the final speaker from the affirmative team to take the podium, please? You have 1 minute to present your final arguments, and your time starts now.
In response to what my fellow opponent has just said, you said something about policies limit freedom. Policies do not limit freedom. Policies do not limit the freedom that is given to us. Policies are there to guide users inside the cyberspace. So policies are in all systems, in private, public, and biblical systems. They have standards of behaviors or policies allowing users to appropriately hold everyone accountable for the things that they are doing inside the cyberspace. So if you misuse any of the
Thank you, final speaker of the affirmative team. I now call upon the final speaker of the negative team. Please take the podium.
Our opponents fail to address our points on the inefficiency and cost of policy-driven digital safety measures, especially when the reality of more pressing issues in Vanuatu, such as the state of our public roads and our central hospital, is brought into consideration, and also when more cost-effective methods especially when more cost-effective methods are also brought into consideration. So we maintain that our position remains undefeated.
Thank you, final speaker of the negative team. So while we wait for the judges to tally up their scores, I'm looking around for Wilson. Where are you? There. The stage is yours, Wilson. Could the audience please give a round of applause to our debaters this afternoon?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Epauto. Lako everyone, or will I still stop yet? All right. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you to Epauto School for hosting the first and second rounds of the Digital Week School debate. And I think for students, this is an opportunity to be able to listen to a different type of conversations. And this is an opportunity to give your views on certain national issues. A lot of the time, the national issues, semi all manandap normally talk about. There are very limited opportunities for us young people to be able to give our views. Debate is an opportunity for you students to be able to research and give your views. Whether it's right or wrong, that's fine. But it is your views as a young people. Digital Week will happen next week. But today you may look planned something, digitalization and everything, you make them look community blame. And it come one time where we need to be very careful in how you may use them. This afternoon, when the debate was going on, we were watching live, and then we're seeing people commenting on your debates. I had to tell them to cut off the comments. What we've realized is this: there's certain double standards in this country when it comes to women giving their views and men giving their views. Whenever one woman may give him few blame, every man is stop behind law mobile phone ke muli se wonem. Hey, woman tell me things say me go. Even women saying the same thing to another. Mama, sister, wife, or daughters, one man Vanuatu. But when it comes to men talk koi, but people they tell them say, no. And I think it's very important for us in this country to start protecting our sisters, our wives, our daughters, and our moms. Now that digitalization come up more. Because the group that is more vulnerable are our sisters, our wives, our daughters, and our mom. And Mr. Talk to the male sitting here. There is a high tendency to follow the social crowd. Look, I can say one woman we want to give views blame. And you may judge them so much. But when it comes to men, it's okay. We tolerate everything. So this afternoon, even I've seen comments from people who even tell them, say, this thing is this, climate change is this. This is just a school debate. There's no right or wrong answer. It's an opportunity to share your views in a space that you feel more comfortable about. But if you watch and probably go online tomorrow and watch it on the Digital Week page. And probably if you come back to school, you will say, you talk last time, don't. It's not easy to be here. And I would also like to acknowledge the French schools who are able to participate and speak English. And I think Lycess School has always been the French school that every year, whenever there is a debate, they don't complain. They always come and participate. And please, give a round of applause to Lycée. When you talk French, yet you come debate with them, English. We were in Santo 2 weeks ago, and we decided we should do a French competition. It was between Lycée de Lucanville and Saint-Michel. It was amazing, even though I didn't know how to speak French. But everything about it is amazing. You could see students having this opportunity to be able to share their views, specifically on national issues, that normally you don't have those opportunities to be able to give your views. And debate is a good space for all of us to be able to give our views. Thinking Blomivla school debate is by end of today, hopefully schools can create their own debate clubs within the schools. So that maybe during assembly, instead of make an announcement, maybe have one class debate, I can say one, Narvla class, to create those conversations about national issues. We also practice Yumi. Plan the time when say we need Vanuatu shy. When it comes to public speaking, you may go overseas, you may. But today, evidence is showing that Vanuatu are not shy. We are not shy. We are able to speak here. You must have a live stream. The only problem is we are not giving enough opportunity to be able to expose ourselves of our potential. Today we've seen potential in this room. Yesterday we've seen potential. Let's create more opportunities for those potentials. You may look after you may hear Mogatali talk. Thank you, Epauto School. I know this is probably me can put some pressure on the host, but I think Epauto set a record. You will host 2 different places, 2 days. One tent, one place. I acknowledge the principle low. 13, 14, 15 is Digital Week. Lo Independence Park. The semifinals and the finals will be there. Come. But before you come away, you go to page for Titan FX, go to page for Balance of Power, the Facebook, go to page for Kiwanis, and you go to page for Digital Week. Follow, like, share, whatever you do with this page, please. Seremigo. But otherwise, me want to tell them thank you, all schools who will participate today. Onesue, for coming all the way to Notefate, to participate. Thank you too much. Malapoa, congratulations. By Miriam Hui Winaya. But remember this. Digital Week will happen next week, but we need to respect each other online. Last year, the year before when we have this debate, there was a fight online between schools, and I had to make a case. If I see you fighting again, you won't be in future school debates. But if Lakopak watch, please respect each other. It's just a debate. Respect each other's view. Be friends, but continue to share your views when there's an opportunity provided to you. Congratulations, Yumi, everyone. Respect them, Yumi. Tata Imiko, you like, especially Balance of Power page. Like, follow, share everything. Titan FX, Kiwanis, and the Digital Week. Thank you very much.
All right. The moment we are all waiting for. Some comments now from the judges. I think first one, Hemi, based around the debate statement. It's just to understand that when we talk about policy, it can be a guide, and it's also, the other side is how you enforce or implement that policy, Hemi, to different something. Another one, Hemi, when you're doing your research, we've had some very good research coming out with them all statistics, all facts. Just remember when you are also maybe been Haramla information session last week, well, experts please meet them. When you're researching, make sure that Hemi lo one trustworthy source. There's not too much AI generated results. It has to be from a reliable source. And one more, forget, say, time we're barely doing once, and me stop telling you, say, you start round up now. Come to conclusion, you. I think today's debates, the first one and this one now, and me first time where every student, you go 5 minutes, you are must stop no more. A lot of times, people, debaters only not take them a full 5 minutes. This time around, we are saying you make the full use of your 5 minutes, but don't forget, first bell, you round off, because your conclusion is also very important. Time you stop him before conclusion, you start miss the one important part of the debate, Is that right? And not forget, say, no low criteria where moderator is tatalem. There's nothing to do with grammar or how you structure your sentences. We are not picky about that. It's about the content where you give him out. Research where you make them, and how now you present them to the audience. That being said, another round of applause for our debaters this afternoon. Thank you. Okay, drum roll. Drum roll. There we go. Drum roll. Lycess Lab 168.5 points, and Onesue 199.5 points. Congratulations, Onesue. But it's not the end for Lycée. You want the Haram debate law French? Friday, me deblem. Friday before the finals, there will be a French exhibition. Lycée Lab, Hemi Fesem, Lycée Français, if I'm correct. So I remember it happened, Lost Stage Town Independence Park, before the finals. And Onesue, we will see you at the semi-finals next week. Low Wednesday, number 13 May. Thank you to everyone for showing up. A big hand to Onesue while you win this afternoon. And one more clap for Epauto. Thank you for host these 2 days. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you, students, debaters. As you take your seats, please, if you follow my Sister Blamista go behind you, but if you take one group photo before you meet this peace. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming. On behalf of the host school, We'd like to thank all of you for coming today and also yesterday. Thank you for allocating your time to come and watch the debates here and also up at school. We'd like to congratulate the winners for the round of debates today, and we wish you all the best in the upcoming debates. Before we all go home, I would like to ask all of us if we could walk together to stack up the chairs in stacks of 16. And we exit the hall either that way or the front. We avoid going to the front of the hall. Thank you. Have a nice afternoon.